Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in this Friday. I'm so glad to get painting. This is awesome. Oh, we got this. It sounds like the sound's leaking through. That's weird. Huh. Shouldn't be.
It's always something.
Awesome. Yeah. Guys, thanks so much
Oh,
for
oh,
tuning in
one second, I
this
know what it
Friday.
is.
I'm so glad to get painting. This is awesome.
Hey, one second. Sorry about this.
That's weird. Huh.
It's always something.
Awesome. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
That's so funny. Oh, that's a little quieter. Let me put this back. Put that back. Thanks. You bet. Alright, cool. Wow. I had a YouTube channel open on my computer. Apparently it doesn't like that. They don't play well together. Or maybe they play too well together. I don't know what it is. But, man, I'm so glad it's Friday, and I'm so glad to get painting. And it's the beginning of spring break for our son, Jack. So this is brilliant. This is like the first evening that he's out of school, and he's going to be out of school for like 9 days. And we're going to go. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 days. I can count. What do you know? But we're going to go out to the lake, visit my parents, spend some time there, get a lot of work done in the studio, and just play and do some fun things.
Yeah, and he just had a birthday. Just turned 8 on Wednesday.
Yeah. Jack just turned 8.
Yep.
And we were out of town when he turned on his birthday, so we were in New Orleans, and so it's made it where Jack's had an entire birthday week instead of a birthday day.
Yeah.
He had a little birthday party with us before we left. Then on his birthday, my mom and my dad, the best people in the world, they took cupcakes to his school. They took cupcakes to his old teachers. They had a party afterwards.
There was a big banner at the house.
Yeah, when he woke up in the morning, there was a big banner. So this kid is not spoiled at all. And after spring break, his best friend's going to be back in town, and we're going to have a sleepover birthday party, and he might actually have a couple of those. So
yeah, it's going to be fun. We're spacing it out as much as possible. More bang for your buck with the birthdays.
Man, and it's been a crazy week. We've been in New Orleans, so tonight I want to do a painting that's inspired from our trip there. And I posted a sketch online in case anybody wants to paint along. And but before I go any further, I want to say too, tonight I think we're all hooked up for Skype as well. So the last Friday we were talking about how in the world are we going to get people on here. Like you can type in chat. In order to type in chat, you've got to go to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this live stream through our website, Bramblitt.com, it'll show the video feed. It's live there now. But the chat is only available through YouTube. And you can get there by pushing the YouTube icon on the bottom right-hand side or just going to the YouTube channel. And if you type in my name, you can get there. And if you want to Skype in and ask your question, or if you're an artist and you want to show your art, if you're painting along, and you want to hold up your painting and show everybody what you're working on, that would be just awesome. And if you want to find us on Skype, it's just my name. It's John Bramblitt, or you can type in Bramblitt. And the picture should be my little symbol, the little O's with the eyes crossed out, the circles and X's. So if you see a John Bramblitt with that, then you know you found the right one. And I apologize for my voice. The allergies are just nutty. But I was saying tonight we're going to work on a painting that was inspired by the trip to New Orleans. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'd never been to New Orleans before. Every day, the music that I paint to in the morning is, at least in the mornings, and if not all day, is some New Orleans bounce, New Orleans jazz, some amazing music. It's hard to have a bad day when you wake up in the morning. They're like, welcome to New Orleans, and everything's exciting and happy, and it's just so cool.
Yeah, I thought one of the cool aspects, being there, I had been there before, but it was fun to see, like, John experience it for the first time, but there are musicians all over the place. Like, every 4 stores along all the French Quarter area, there's different musicians kind of busking in all sorts of spots and doing all sorts of wacky instruments. They're not even like that typical. They're just some weird instruments and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of fun to watch. And every single bar, pretty much. 9 out of 10 bars have live music.
Yeah.
So there's no shortage of live music there at all.
That was incredible. It was just incredible. But I have to say, my absolute favorite part of New Orleans though is my Uncle Wendell that lives there. Oh my word, he is the funniest, the nicest person you'd ever want to meet. So if you ever run into a Wendell Bullock, please tell him hi from me. But he's lived in New Orleans since 1984. He went there for Halloween, came back to the Dallas area, and with about $28 in his pocket, decided New Orleans is the place for me, and got on a bus and headed back there, and has been there ever since. And oh my goodness, he can show you that town better than anybody. Just incredible. So what I'm doing right now, and let me show you here, this is like a 1-inch flat. It's just so I'm using this to put some white on there. So I'm sure this is a very compelling video right now. I'm putting white on white. You're like, oh, this is thrilling, John. Thanks a lot. So today I'm going to paint a snowstorm. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to have a polar bear going through a snowstorm. So just to recap for anybody for what I'm doing, my paints, I changed the way they feel. They're brailled on the tube. But I normally don't have to read them every time because I put my paints back in the same place every time. So it makes it a little quicker for me to reach and get them. And I worked out this system so that I take all my paints out of their tubes and I put them in my tubes. Because I have some that are smaller than others. They're different sizes. Like this one has a paper top. They have different things on there so I can feel them and touch them and know where they are. And that speeds me up a little bit. And I've worked this out. So like this week in New Orleans, I was doing a live painting for the lighthouse for the blind there. And whenever I go, I just bring these same sets of paints. And then I bring an easel, but just a little bit, palette, but a little bit smaller palette. So it's basically the same thing. So it lets me be able to paint and have the same sort of system and have the same feel about it. And the cool thing about that too is that if you're painting like that, with the same paints and the same bottles, then you just feel like you're at home. And you could be painting in front of 500 people. You could be painting in front of 1,000 people. You could be painting on TV live. Doesn't matter. You're painting with all your same stuff, and it feels like you're back in your studio. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That was such a great time, that organization. Oh, my goodness. It was just brilliant. And Lighthouse does so much. You know, when I first started painting, when I first lost my eyesight, I never thought I would be able to do anything. I kind of thought my life was over. And they're one of the organizations, though, that really stepped in, and they're like, oh, you can do anything you want. You can be anything. There's all these adaptive techniques. And I thought it was so nice of them to lie to me, to make it seem like I could do everything. I was so depressed, felt like everything was over. But they're the organization I got my first white cane from. They're just incredible, and I started learning how to do all kinds of things through their help. So it was a whole lot of fun.
So John, is there a particular song or like a particular moment that this, is inspired by, that we were there?
Oh, that's a yes. Thank you so much for reminding me. And I also want to say we're going to give away at least one free print later. And which free print? It's whatever print you want. Well, we'll send it to you free, but we're going to have a little game, have a little contest, and it's not a hard game. So don't worry, we're not gonna
not with a computer.
Here's the math equation. yeah. It's never been solved. Whoever gets it first, gets a free print. No, whenever we were in New Orleans, we were hanging out with my uncle, and he said, well, if you're coming to New Orleans, one thing you've got to get is a beignet, and it's like this donut thing. And why it hasn't caught on in the rest of the world, I don't know why. I just have no idea. It's like a donut, but imagine a donut that's had a storm of powdered sugar just dumped on it, like a pound of powdered sugar, and whenever we had it, we were in an outdoor cafe and it was really windy, and we're all wearing black clothes, so we
just happen to be like, you always wear black, but I just happen to be wearing black, not knowing what these things are, and then the storm was rolling in, so it was like the windiest time. And of course we sat right next to where, some of the tarps were like whipping right by our face.
Yeah.
And just the minute you pick them up, they're these little like fried things, and the minute you pick them up, the powdered sugar was just whoosh all over us at the table. But
yeah, it was
every bit of it. It was so good.
Oh my goodness, it was, and the coffee is so strong. It's like French market coffee, has chicory in it. Mm-hmm. Let me explain really quick what I'm doing, and then I'll get into why I'm doing what I'm doing. I added a little titanium white, a little lemon yellow, a little golden yellow, and now this really high contrast sort of pink that's up there. And I'm just putting this up very high. I'm blending it in. I can do this very quickly because it's just going to be a blending sort of job. And I'm going to go back over with the paintbrush later. But I just wanted to get this in really quick so it could dry. Then I'm going to do something that's similar down here. But what this is going to be is there's going to be a sky up here to about here. There's going to be a sun. The sea is going to be going along. Actually, it's not the sea. It's the Mississippi. So the Mississippi is going to be going along here. And then down here is going to be an embankment. And there's going to be a bench with a person sitting on the bench with an umbrella. And the entire time, well, that morning, whenever we met my uncle for beignets, delicious again, we walked down to the Mississippi. It was just right there, and there's this huge steamboat there. It's right off of Jackson Square. So if you ever want to go to this place for beignets, which I highly recommend, go to the corner of Jackson Square, like on the side of where the Mississippi is, and there's this huge cafe. You can't miss it. Serve these amazing beignets. They're just incredibly amazing. And then you go off to the, if you're facing it, you go off to the right a little bit towards this giant steamboat that plays this calliope music and huge horn. And the Mississippi's right there, and they have places where you can sit and places where you can stand. And just the sound of New Orleans behind you.
Yeah, and there's art all along that square hanging on the, iron fence and everything.
Yeah, but we were standing there with the sound of New Orleans behind you with all the music and everything going on and the sound of the water, that steamboat over there. And the entire time we were there, of course, we're waiting for the rain to come because these huge storms that New Orleans, Louisiana is having right now, they were coming in all week. So everybody's carrying umbrellas, they're carrying all this stuff. They're waiting for the bottom to fall out. We were actually supposed to be there until the day and leave today and get here in time for this, but we left a little early because of the storms. But oh my goodness, yeah, the way that you walk down the streets, and the streets are so small, they're like European, French streets, I guess, obviously, I suppose, but just so cool, so tight. You can walk anywhere. The hotel that we stayed at, and I hesitate to tell you the hotel name, not because I don't mind giving out a free, publicity or whatever to them. It's just that it's French, and I'm horrible at pronouncing any French, but it's like the Place d'Armes. I want to call it Place d'Armes, and that's not right at all. Because every time I would say something like that, or I would try to make it sound right, I was always corrected every time. But it's like Place d'Armes or something. It's not that. It looks like Place D with an apostrophe arms. Oh, isn't that a great place? Because if you leave the hotel and you stand on the street, to your left is Jackson Square, and it's just right at the end of the hotel, at the end of the block. To the right, you go to the end of that block. It's a street filled full of galleries. Yeah. The very next street is Bourbon Street, which is where all the restaurants and the bars and all that kind of fun stuff is. So it's just right there in the middle of every place that you would want to be.
Yeah, and it was, all of the architecture there is amazing. It's, old and has, very French sort of feel, and all the buildings are really skinny. It was interesting because while we were out there, we got to hang out with Tony and Ray, and they were just filling us in on all sorts of really, interesting information, like, the reason why the buildings were so skinny in that town, and skinny from, like, the front of the street, but they go far back is because the property taxes were based on how wide they sat on the street. I thought that was fascinating. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So like with a lot of the places there, they have these long sort of skinny houses that go back into the street, but the backyards, it's just a bunch of buildings, but the backyards are these sort of little oases because it's kind of it's a swamp. so there's actual like palm trees and stuff there. It was weird, but I thought that was cool. It was just, it was a lot of fun. It's, just old and beautiful. It was really cool.
And it was great too to go there and meet people that we know. We met Tony and Ray because through the artwork and all. And so it's so great to go to a city and meet friends that that you never would have had before. And thanks to them, we got to feel some of the old tombs, the mausoleums and
Yeah.
Wow, that was interesting. There was
Yeah,
one
who
that was
was
kind of open.
there was one that you felt, or the guy, what year did he die?
He died in 1775. He died before this was a country.
That's so wild.
Isn't it? Oh my goodness. And to think that that was a working cemetery back before this was the country, and it's still there.
Yeah, and that tomb is still sitting there. It's weird. It's weird. Well, Alyssa Landers says she loves watching these, and thanks for sharing / teaching us.
Oh, thank you. And next week I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a portrait. So if anybody's interested in learning about how to do that or more about it or something like that, then we'll get that into that next week. And because I think the last three I've done, or the first I won't. This is our third broadcast, so it's not like it's been that many, but and so we've done two, and they're both sort of nature scenes. So I thought maybe we could mix it up a little bit and actually do a face.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I wanted to do this one because we were in New Orleans. The weather, the constant, the feeling of it all. So I wanted to do a music inspired painting that had that. But next week we're gonna switch it up a little bit.
So tell the viewers, John, how you decide on what color to lay down next.
Oh, okay. And I apologize. I'm not talking that much. I'm about the painting. I am on this. What I'm trying to do is a technique that's just called blocking in a painting, and all that means is that you're putting the basic colors where you want them. So it's a way for me to build up a painting without having to sketch it. Because one way to start a painting would be to sketch whatever it is that you want in there. That kind of makes sense. You can actually draw it in. And but another way is to start putting color in where like if you're gonna have a forest, let's say over here, you're gonna have more trees over here. Well, then you can put greens and browns and all that you want. And then if you know that you're gonna have lighter colors down here, you can put the lighter. But you're just sort of softly molding up the painting. You're just building it up in small little layers. And I already got a bunch of paint there. Haha, it's on my fingers now. So that's one way. So that's what I'm doing with it now. And my goal here is just to cover up the painting with some colors that I think are going to be there when that I'm going to need later on as well. So I'm trying to cover up the white where I don't need it. Down here is going to be a darker area, and it's going to change by the end of the painting. So on my Facebook page, I posted the painting, the finished painting that I did from last week, and also along next to it the sketch of it. And I have the finished painting over here, and I'll show it to you if you didn't get a chance to catch it on the Facebook. I don't have the sketch, of course, because the sketch is underneath the paint, because I sketched it on the canvas. So, but if I thought about it, we could have put it on the computer, but you get the idea. It was a boat, and so it was a boat, kind of like. And so this one, this was a fresh canvas, and the one before, I did the sketch on the canvas. This time I did something a little bit different, where I did the sketch on a piece of paper. Partly because we're on the run from the storm in Louisiana, and I it was easier to put it on a little piece of paper, and then so I'm going to draw it on here later, and but so it's a little different than last week.
Where on the canvas are you going to draw it, do you think?
I think I'm going to put it right here. I might put it. I think I'll put it about right here. So I'll put it, and it'll be more apparent. So right now there's going to be a strip of purple, a strip of blue, and it's all kind of loose. It doesn't have to be very tight. There's sort of white and then lemon yellow, the darker yellows, and it just goes up in a gradient sort of way. So if you're painting along, or if you want to do this painting later, a nice way to do it is to. Oh, and also let me say, all of these videos are going to be available on our YouTube channel. So they're all DVR'd. If you're watching now, I think you can back it up and you can go forward and all that. I think the DVR works without breaking the internet or anything. I think it'll work. Pardon me. Allergies are crazy here lately. So I think that's something you can do. But later on tonight, it takes a little while for YouTube to render the videos. But this video is going to be on our YouTube channel, so it'll be there forever. If you decide, I don't really want to work on it now, maybe next month when I have some time, I'll work on this painting. You can speed it up, slow it down, and just follow along. So, and that might even be an easier way to do it. And one of the reasons I'm doing these paintings too is because these landscape paintings is because of some paintings that people seem to have liked in the past. I mean, this style. And I thought if you hadn't painted in a while, if you weren't sure about it, sorry, get that over there. My phone was vibrating, making weird sounds. That if you haven't painted in a while, these are kind of nice paintings to get a hold of, like to start with, because they're looser. You know, if you haven't painted in a while, if you've never painted, something like a portrait is really hard to start with. Like if you're painting an ocean, if you get one wave that's a little smaller or bigger than what you were intending by just a little bit, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's the way the ocean works. You know, it swells and it goes around. If you do that to somebody's nose, everybody's going to notice. Everybody's going to like, that person's nose is not right. So these kind of paintings are kind of fun. They're loose. And it's just a really good way to get the idea of strokes down. And anybody can paint. They really can. It's and I say that because, I mean, maybe everybody can't do every kind of painting. You know, like, I would be stymied if I had to do, like, that super high realistic painting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my word.
Photorealism.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody probably could eventually, but, you know, it's like one of those things that might take a year or two. You know, working on one painting and you're like, oh,
I don't think I could do it at all. I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. I've seen artists where they map it out in a grid, and I mean, I think that's how you kind of maybe learn it. But I mean, you have to be kind of meticulous, maybe slightly OCD.
Yeah.
But I like the genre. Like, I love looking at that work. I dig it totally.
Yeah, it's cool. But you know, I guess I find more in common with the impressionists, people like Van Gogh, Monet, things like that, because I like the idea of the motion in the paint, like the paint being more than reflecting what's actually there, but the colors actually being emotion as well. And I just love that idea, and pop art as well. I think pop art is really interesting, and I love the way the lines would just capture an image, you know, in the pop art, and the way like and even though like Andy Warhol and soup can, you think like, oh, it's just a soup can, come on, but you know, you can find that in anybody's cabinet. But it's just interesting though to look at it as art, you know, as that's something that was there during that time, and you know, over years everything changes. So for that, you know, it's interesting to think the designs, the colors, the shapes that we gather around ourselves all the time, you know, and we don't even think about it.
Well, Barb Dorrington chimed in. She says she loves your work, John. She from London, Canada, and she is there with the cat painting. She got Cat and Fishbowl.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. She says all our friends in London, Ontario, think your whole story and the beauty of your work, and the beauty of our work is beautiful, but also inspiring with your work.
See, Canada is amazing.
And Sue Clark has chimed in and said hello, and she is finally getting to catch one of these.
Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll try to make it a good one for you. I'll try to make the painting turn out. I appreciate you tuning in, and oh, you know, I want to remind everybody, if anybody wants to call in, if anybody wants to get on cam, we have Skype. Yeah. And you can do that just by you know, looking at my name on Skype, John Bramblitt or Bramblitt, and it's the one that will have my symbol next to it. So I don't know how many John Bramblitts are out there, but if there's more than one, I'm the one with the symbols.
Yeah, and if anybody's painting along, we'd love to see, you know, what you got.
Yeah, and that's one thing too that I was thinking about, is that we have a lot of artists. Like, this is only our third show, and but we have had like each week, and I'm not sure how the analytics and stuff work, like since we switched to YouTube. Because it's really hard to tell, like, because people will tune in, they'll tune out. Other people will tune in, they'll tune out. So, you know, so it's hard to tell. But each show we've had over 200 people that had watched during the show, you know, and quite a few people have been artists. So if there's an artist out there, and if you want to show, if you're working on this, whatever I'm working on, that's cool. If you want to work on. I'm slinging water everywhere. If you want to show some other of your work or anything, you know, say, hey, I've been working on this, just check it out. That'd be a really cool way. I mean, it'd be really cool to, you know, for you to Skype it and let everybody see it.
Sue says she's been learning acrylic painting for about over a year, and she wishes she was at fourth as good as you.
Oh, that's so sweet, Sue. Thank you for saying that. You know. Gosh, you know, I appreciate you saying that. But, you know, it's funny. I've been painting for 15 years, and gosh, is that right? I mean,
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
I'm only 27, so how could that be? So that couldn't be possibly be 15 years. Um, no, I mean, but the first year, I mean, like, man, if you're even close to, well, I mean, I appreciate it. It sounds like Hoovers or like I'm talking about something. Well, if you're a quarter as long as I am, but if you are, let's say if you were a quarter along the way of that, that's awesome. It took me 15 years to get to where I am here. So if you're already like that far along, man, that's awesome. I had a really good friend. He passed away when he was 93, 94, and he painted in oils, and he painted in oils all of his life. Well, no, he started when he was 13, but he did it every day. And he said every day that he painted, he learned something new, which I think is just brilliant. You know, it's just so cool. So in the time that I've been painting, um, I I think what I've learned is that I just have so much to learn. So I guess I've been painting that long, but I didn't start showing, I guess, until maybe like 9 years ago, something like that. 8, like really showing.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
So, Sue she's curious how in the world do you know where to put the colors and blend them so well?
Oh, thank you. Well,
For example, talk about what you're doing there and how like you plan that out. How
oh,
do you
okay.
know what you're doing?
Well, I feel very Bob Ross, but I will say, okay, see, what I'm doing here is I'm putting some lighter color. I'm putting a little titanium white. And that's okay if I mess up, because all this is going to be covered up. I'm just covered up layer after layer. And I'm using paint that's very thin. Well, not very thin. It's somewhat thin. I mean, it leaves those edges that I can feel. But I'm going to put a sun up here. So right now, on this water, I'm lightening it a little bit because this is where the sun is going to start hitting the water, and it's gonna make a bit of a reflection. So I'm gonna widen it a little bit, and I like to paint water in not always, but if I'm painting light in water, like light as it's being reflected on water, I like to do it in these horizontal sort of strokes because it just gives this nice interplay, and it really matches to me. Like color and music to me are synonymous. I get them, I mix them up quite a bit, and I love the way that notes meld together, and that's sort of the way that this does. And it's interesting. I think it's techniques that are catching on too. You see more and more paintings that are like this, which I think is pretty cool. Also, if you're looking into expanding your techniques, your repertoire in art, a really great way of doing that is copying people that you admire, copying master painters, copying anything you can find. And of course, this is an old technique. People have been going to museums and sketching for, centuries, really. But it applies to other art forms. Like Hunter Thompson, the way that he learned how to write. He's a great writer. He wrote Fear and Loathing, Hell's Angels in the '60s. He wrote all kinds of things. He was a sports writer and stuff. But but the way that he learned how to write though was he would copy artists that he really liked. Like he loved Fitzgerald, so he would sit down with a novel by Fitzgerald and a typewriter and type the entire book word for word, every period, every comma. He would learn how Fitzgerald would phrase things, where he'd put his punctuation, every little thing. But at the end of it, though, he had a really good working knowledge of exactly the way Fitzgerald or Hemingway or whoever he liked would put together a story. And not only put it together, but the mechanics behind it, the word structure, sentence structure, the way he would do his paragraphs, the way he would start a chapter, end a chapter, all these sorts of ideas. Well, with painting, you can do the exact same thing. You can start looking at a painting and start breaking it down to its building blocks.
And that's what, I mean, back in the day, that's when masters had apprentices. They would, paint exactly like them or learn the exact brushstroke and all that. And that, then they were themselves could be masters.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
it's the same concept.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's cool. I mean, it's and it's interesting. You think, well, if I'm copying somebody, then how am I going to find my own style? And the truth is, I think. I mean, when it comes to style and all that, um, you find it through working. I mean, you can't read a book on like your style. You can't go out. I mean, as much as that would be nice, but you just can't do it. You just keep you working. You work towards things that you enjoy, work things that you like, work towards things that make sense to you, and then before you know it, you keep repeating that sort of stuff, and those sort of themes keep popping up. And whether or not you're conscious of it or not, if you try to force something like that, then you're probably gonna end up not even liking what you're doing. But
Yeah, Sue said that she does that with Van Gogh. She'll grid his work out and try to paint like him.
oh, that's cool,
That's
man.
really that's a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah, and using a grid, that's really cool, man. That's really neat. So I think that's so cool that you said that too. On Wednesday, I was giving a talk to about 50 or 60
Yeah.
lighthouse, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, of visually impaired people mostly, and we're talking about different techniques and different ways, and there's lots of different ways for people to paint. There's lots of different ways for people to do anything, um, but I think it's cool because one of the techniques, it's not one that I use, but one technique I've heard a non-visual artist using when they're trying to paint is by using a grid sort of thing, and they can break, especially if it's people though that have some vision, they can do that, and then they can blow up each little part of it, and then they'll
Yeah.
using their adaptive technology. I think that's really cool. So right now I'm just putting in a lot of color, and a lot of this is going to be covered up. So if you're ever working on a painting, and then this is funny, but this is so important though. I think I have never done a painting where I wasn't at least halfway through, and I get this idea, this feeling that it's not going to turn out. I get this fear like there is no way this is going to work out, and especially if I'm doing a live painting somewhere, I'm thinking, holy crap, here we go, this is not. And but I asked last week when I was in Santa Barbara, I asked Jeff Bridges the same thing. I said, I told him, I said, there's this point whenever I'm in a painting, and I always think like, yeah, I can't get it done. I said, like, do you know what I'm talking about? And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, I've never done anything where I wasn't in it, and then didn't get this sort of feeling like it was just gonna fall to pieces. But and then I was at maybe 6-8 weeks ago, something like that. I was doing a talk with Don Hahn, which is this producer at Disney, and he's just this incredible, humble guy. And he's produced films he's done like 20 to 30 films. They're like Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Aladdin, and you name it, and he's done it. It's incredible, and these are his films. And he said he's never done a film, and he's a painter. He calls himself a painter, but he said he's never done a film. He's never done a painting where he wasn't in it and think, oh my goodness, this is not going to work out. Which I'm thinking, like these guys that are saying this, that is so cool because that's exactly the way I feel, And you would think that these people have it all worked out. These people that are at the height of their careers, they're doing these amazing things. And if you hear a jingle or anything, Echo, my guide dog, just came in here. He's sweetheart. How you doing? Oh, I don't have a treat for you, baby. Sorry. But you guys got these people at the height of their careers, and like Jeff was saying, like everything he does, there's like this holy, like this butt clenching moment, where he doesn't think it's not gonna work, it's not gonna pull off, and it just makes me feel a whole lot better, I think, And
Yeah.
there was something that Don Hahn said. He said you just have to have faith in yourself. That everything you've experienced, everything you've learned, all the people around you and the weight that they have and everything you've gone through, the school, the bad things, everything is going to have enough weight. Echo, can you leave it, baby? Leave it.
Okay.
Can you make sure she, thanks, sweetheart, I'm sorry. But it has enough weight, though, where it's going to get you through whatever it is that you want to do. So you just have to have faith in yourself. I thought that was kind of cool because.
So, Durian, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Durian 13 asked. She was wondering if you still use the puffy paint that dries with raised lines for portraits.
I don't. I mean, I do for if I'm doing workshops, but I don't in my art now because. And the only reason that I don't. I use a ton of puffy paint, a ton of it, for workshops and things, and that's the best stuff for that. So if I'm doing drawings for other people to fill, I'll use the puffy paint. And the only reason that I don't use it for myself is because if I'm painting in acrylics, I'll mix my own acrylic based paint that goes with it because I can dry it quicker, and I can make the lines a lot thinner. Used to, I had to have very, very thick lines, so the puffy paint was perfect. But over time, I've been able to deal with thinner lines and thinner lines. So being able to work with acrylics and oils, but especially acrylics, I can mix the different paints the way that I want it. So if I want to mix a line that's thin, but it's going to have a film develop on it, so I can touch it while it's still a little wet, and then dry flat, so that so you can't feel it anymore. I can do that. I can't do that with puffy paint, but puffy paint is a great way to start, especially if you're just starting out. If you're non-visual and you're starting out, that stuff is just really, really good because it'll dry. It makes a nice permanent hard line. And that's why I still use it. I still use it a lot. I mean, I go through bottles and bottles of that stuff with all the workshops that I do because it's the best material out there, I think, to be able to do a workshop like that. It just makes it really cool. You get this perfect line that even people who are sighted and they're blindfolded can feel that line and understand where they are. It makes such a good line.
Yeah, one thing that was funny about that was the creator of that paint, I guess the CEO of Tulip or something, emailed you and was like, asking you all sorts of questions about how you were using it and how it was, you were using it amongst the community and all of that. I thought that was, it was such a trip to like get an email from like the creator of that product and
pretty cool.
He's nice enough to be like, do you want more, to share? And it was like, that's awesome. Man.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah. So I hope that it seemed really cool because it seemed like that company really cared. I mean, they were actually watching. He was the owner. He was the creator of it. And he's writing emails to people saying like, "Hey, I see you're using this paint in a cool way." And I don't know. That's pretty neat. You think about these big companies. I don't know, just being so large, they're out of touch with people. But I don't know. That's pretty cool that they do that. And so I'm just putting in a bunch of color right now, and it's a hot mess. But that's okay. So I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna stress about it yet.
Do you do any blending of that, or like overlay? And I mean, like next, what do you think you're gonna do next?
Well, and that's a good question. And in my mind, I'm putting it down. So like my mind, I've already done this painting, and I know kind of what I want. So I'm doing these colors in a bit of a V. So I'm going through, and I know it seems random, but I'm going through down this way, and then I'm going back up, then over, and then back down, and then I'll do the middle. But I'm doing like each little blocked area in my mind that I know that I need to work on. And I'm going like some darker colors, some lighter colors, some darker colors, some lighter colors, because at the end, I want to get an undulating sort of look. So I want the colors to blend, and I'm using some thinner colors, and I'm using some more opaque colors over each other, around each other, so that when the light from the room will go into the paint, it'll go through some of the layers and all the way, and some other ones it won't go all the way, and it'll change the tint, it'll change the value of the paint, and just give it more of an interesting look. So that's the idea. We'll see if it works. But that's the great thing about painting, though. You get done with it, you don't like it, you can keep tweaking it and tweaking it. So. But I want to try to get this color a little bit down, and I left my heat gun somewhere, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of this hot pink, and this over here seems pretty boring, so we need to liven it up. Now this little area right here I'm not too worried about, because there's actually going to be a park bench and a person there. You just can't see them yet. They're hiding. It's funny. I always thought it was interesting too about painting, the way how people in society will do the painting. Like you hear about Renaissance men, Renaissance women. People that are in science or in painting. They'll write poetry. They'll do all these different things. And then you hear about like in traditional Japanese culture with the samurai, which it's a warrior society, and yet their arts and their poetry was highly praised, and a samurai warrior wasn't seen as fully round, fully complete. if you didn't do some sort of art. And I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
And it's something that's just, it's like a part of your nature that if you don't, if you neglect it, it just, it'll bite you on the bottom, I think.
Well, Tony chimed in and
Oh, is
asked.
Tony here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, hey, Tony. And hey, Ray, if you're there.
Yeah, thanks for showing us around New Orleans. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
It was great. Yeah, I loved the impromptu tour guide tidbits of information.
Yeah, that was so cool. We went on a walk to look for one of the cemeteries. We got to see a part of the French Quarter that we hadn't visited before. And so interesting to walk down the streets and get a feel for the houses, the shapes of them, the architecture. It's just incredible, and the freedom of expression they have there. Like Tony was talking about the different colors of houses, these bright colors you wouldn't see anywhere, and it's just, but there it works. It's not it's not like glaring, and it just kind of makes sense.
And you found the corn fence.
I did. I sent Tony the picture that you
cool.
sent me. Yeah.
Well, she asked if there was any if you were asked to do a mural, what would you paint? What would be and why?
That's a great question, and I do want to do one. And actually, I want to do a few. I want to paint the world and paint. There's actually a restaurant here in Denton that I might end up doing a mural for, which I think would be really cool. And I'm wondering though, because I have all these different ideas. Because like in a restaurant, it's like a bar, a cantina. We're in Texas here, so like the Spanish heritage, the culture is really it's evident everywhere, and it's wonderful. And so it says cantina, and I was thinking about in that thing to maybe doing like a really thick impasto painting on the wall, but huge. Go in with plaster or some kind of thick gesso and give it really heavy painterly strokes, but maybe make it in a way so that it's painted in a way so that if you're a person and you stand over the painting, it looks like you're standing in the painting. I don't know if that would be weird, but it'd be a good photo op.
Well, there is an artist out there. It was on Facebook for a while that does these really cool murals in homes with what do you call that? The drywall compound.
Oh, plaster.
Plaster. I guess yeah, plaster. And I mean there is
or joint compound.
Yeah, if you look on Facebook or just Google, I guess drywall compound or plaster, wall sculptures. This guy will come up and he does these with a giant palette knife. He does these vast mountainscapes with wolves in it and everything, and they're like little reliefs off, little raised kind of paintings off of the walls.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, so I could see you doing something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I have to say too, people were asking me. So there's been a couple people asking about how I know where to put the color. It's funny. I like if I'm awake at night. One of the ways I just kind of spend my time when I'm laying there is thinking about paintings and about what I'm going to do to them. And before I work out a painting, sometimes it takes me almost as much time if it's going to be a difficult composition to work out the composition. But I work it out ahead of time because I know for me the way that I need to work in layers. So I want to know what's going to dry first and what's what. And what needs to be the lighter layers that need to go first, what darker layers need to go first, and all that. So I work it out in my mind. And I know that sounds like a very analytical way to paint and not a very feeling way, but I work it out so that whenever I start painting, and usually I have the music going, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm feeling it, I'm able to just feel it and go with it, and not have to stop every little bit and solve problems. So I work it out. I know, well, when I finish this part, I'm going to let it dry. I'm working on this right now so I can work on that park bench. But I got to get this done first before I can work on that park bench. When I get that park bench done, then I can start working on the sky. Actually, I need to do the sky here first. But then, there's like little layers. So I'm doing this area, kind of liking it, kind of not liking it. it's coming along. It's not as horrible as it could be right now, but we'll see. So
what's like the music that you're thinking of when is it brass band? What?
Yeah, it's funny. And that's something about New Orleans that I didn't even think about, but it's all kinds of music. like there's definitely the brass bands and the people on the street that are playing, and the guy with the upright piano, I guess, that
Yeah.
like drug out in the street and he's banging along on it and singing. Yeah, I'm the piano man and blah blah blah. So
I would not.
sounds better than what I made it sound like.
That'd be like the last instrument I'd choose if I was gonna like go into this busking career.
Yeah, really. Yeah, man. Yeah. The guy with the harmonica has got a lot on you. It's a lot easier for him to pack up and leave for the day, isn't it? Man. Yeah, but he's, but I guess that's part of it. People are going to stop and pay notice.
Yeah, I mean, he was popular. He was popular.
You know what's funny though is that the person that probably got even more attention, that guy, he's probably played the piano for years, put all this effort, and yet the guy that had the thought, the fortitude to be able to go out and purchase a small horse, is the guy that gets all the attention. That one guy just buys one little small pony.
Oh man, we need to get a small pony.
Oh, I should not have brought it up.
This thing was so cute. It was so cute, and of course they would get you because I think it was like two guys that had this pony. But you would walk past them and they would give you a carrot to give to the pony, and then of course they expect you to tip them for letting them for letting you feed the pony. But man, the pony was awesome.
I don't know. It sounds like the beginning of our own reality show, like Small Pony, big problems. That sounds a good name for a reality show. Small Pony, Small Horse, Big Problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be cool. But man, if we had the room for it, I would love a little pony. I had a little goat once, and that was cute.
I know, you won't let me get a goat.
Well, it's not me. It's the man.
I'm pretty sure we can keep them under wraps.
I don't know. Have you ever met a goat?
Well, no.
Or something. We have this small backyard. I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
Well, Tony asked if you could talk about, if you have time, if you could talk about any of the paintings behind you.
Oh yeah, they're all the paintings behind me are for sale. These are all the paintings I have for sale, I think, except I have one that it's hung over there. And, well, I mean, I have some more, but they're not. This is a bunch, mostly what I have. And one that's not over here is a white Buddha one, which is really thick. It's like a sculpted piece. I'll have to show it to you sometime. But here, speaking of Tony, and I know Tony, you sent me an email about this, and I'll email you after. I'm so sorry. I've been running around like crazy today, and I apologize. I just saw it before we got on here. So let me see. So this is the painting that I did last week. I'm trying not to put it on the other one. Does it show up okay?
It looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So this is the painting we did last week, and if you remember, the sketch was this boat, and there was like some lines, and these mountains were a nice little surprise I found in the painting because I wanted the light to go this way, and I was thinking as I was painting, why is the light going this way? The sun's in the middle, and I thought, oh, you know what? I need to have some land over here. To sort of push that, the light this way a little bit and give it a reason. And the paint up here is a lot thicker, so I wanted to, and the paint on the edges is thicker, and then of course we have the boat. And so that's how that finished out. I was going to do a live video of me painting it and finishing it, and but because of the storm in New Orleans and all that running around, we just, I just didn't do it. But in future though, that's what I'm going to try to do. If I don't finish the painting, I'll try to finish it on video and speed it up or do something so you can watch the end parts of the painting. Because if we're going to do these paintings and stuff, if anybody wants to do them later on, it'd be nice if you can see the whole painting being worked on. I'm sorry. And the other paintings, this painting is Jason Lee. He's an actor. He's a really nice guy. He lives here in Denton now and drives an old beat up truck and wears a crazy hat and does movies with Chipmunks and Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Really, really nice guy. This is Campus Theater. We don't usually have a giant robot. That's a theater that's here in town. I don't know if that's okay. UNT is a college I went to, and GWU is the other major college we have here. This down here is a huge man named Adam. It was the first resin. It's called Mel Torso Study. It was the first resin painting I did like that. And this guy was so big He would hold a pitcher of beer, and when he was holding it, you would swear it was a beer mug because he was just this huge guy. So it just fit. Like he would just drink it. He was drinking it like it was a beer. He'd set it down. You're like, holy crap, that's a pitcher of beer. I don't know. It's just it's weird. He's just a giant and really nice guy. This up here is it's a band playing. There's music swirling around. I'm not sure how we can see it. There's a couple that are dancing and kind of kissing. Ooh, dirty stuff. Then there's this is something else. It's a painting of pardon me. What's the derby name?
Jane Snob.
Jane Snob. I swear I'm mean names, but yeah, Jane Snob. She's a roller derby girl, amazing. Has a beautiful kid now, and so I paint her with a guitar. So that's what that is. It's a very thick paint. It's got this weird resin sort of, so it's paint and resin paint mixed in together, so it gives it a very almost industrial sort of feel, which is kind of cool. Down here, I got a couple lovebirds with some very calypso type music going around them, very bright colors. This is another roller derby girl, coupe, and with Bill Murray behind her, just because every painting could use a little more Bill Murray. And then I got another robot painting of buildings. These robot paintings are UV reactive, so there's actually a moon that comes out at night. If you put a shiny UV light on this, the moon comes out, all the lights light up, which is kind of fun. And it does the same to the other. The black and white down there, I'm not sure if you can see that. Can you see that?
Barely.
Barely. It's a friend of ours, Levi here from Denton. Then of course there's an African gray parrot, although in that painting is more blue. And up above it is a bridge with this lady walking through it. It's sort of a bourbon and blues kind of feel with trees, and you might not be able to see it here. And I'll have to post this on my website. Some of these paintings are very new, and they're not on the website. And and then there's like a city, some towers, so like she's in this sort of foreign locale. But there's this wooden bridge that goes over this little river. But those are those paintings that and I have one more that's a very well. I have a few more, but that's one more that one of the white Buddha, which is the thickest painting I've ever done. It's really small. It's like 18 by 24, and it's all white, except in the Buddha's lap is a rose blossom, and it's a yellow rose. But it is incredibly thick, and it's all gesso and paint. It's molded so that it feels like you can actually feel the paint all the way around it. So it's like 3 or 4 inches thick, so you can actually feel his head and his shoulders and his arms as he comes out, and the rose and everything. It's all like sculpted, molded stuff, and fun. Just a lot of fun.
Do you think you're gonna do more of those like high sculpted paintings?
Yeah, I want to do some of some people's faces too, where or their arms or shoulders, whole side torso, something maybe where all of that is more 3D, so that it's not only painted, but you can also look at it and feel it. You can actually feel like the person's face, so the painting feels like that person, and looks like them. So never done that. I don't know if anybody ever has, so I don't know if it can, how well that would be done, going from a 3D sort of thing into a 2D dimensional. Could be a little tricky, but I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure somebody's done it. There's always somebody working on something somewhere, it seems like.
Well, Sue Clark said awesomeness about the last week's painting being finished, how it looks, and Alyssa Lander said it looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. What do you know what time it is?
It is 7:56.
Okay, because I was thinking at about maybe like an hour into it, maybe we could do the question.
Okay.
We have a question game to play, and we thought we'd put a question up. And are there enough people on chat to play?
Sure.
Okay, so let me give everybody some time though. We'll give you like 5-10 minutes or so to be able to get over to chat. So if you're watching somewhere else, or if you haven't loaded chat or anything like that, what we're gonna do is ask a question, and it's gonna be a multiple choice. So there'll be three possible answers, and if you give us the right answer, then your name is going to go into a hat or something, and then we'll pull out like the winner from the hat, and you'll get a free print, whatever print you want, and we'll mail it to you for absolutely free. And so in about 5 or 10 minutes, At 8, I guess.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock, we'll do that. So if you're not on chat and you think you want to play, you don't have anything to lose. It doesn't cost anything to play. It just ought to be fun. So at 8 we'll do that. So if you log on to chat and you get on there and we'll ask a question and then we'll look at it and you just think about whatever you think it is, and then but you've got to answer it before the question goes away. So we'll leave it up for like a minute maybe.
Cool.
And that way, whoever answers in that minute, you guys, whoever got the right answer is going to go in the hat. And but I thought it'd be fun to play some games and do some different things. And also a question of the day. If anybody has a question of the day, I do have a question. I think this is kind of a weird thing. And maybe this has anything to do with art, but I think it's kind of interesting that I might have read this somewhere, but I was looking at lemon juice one day, and it's like that stuff that you get out of the like if you want to buy lemon juice in the store and you get it, it's like that lemon shaped thing. If you go online and you look at the ingredients, it's the weirdest sort of stuff. All these chemicals and
it's
weird
not
things
lemon
are in it.
Juice?
No, it's like lemon. It's like most of it is like chemical kind of stuff. But if you get dishwashing soap, it's made with real lemon juice. So why is it that the dishwashing soap is made with real lemons, and the stuff we cook with isn't? I don't know. Life. Go figure.
So Virginia from Uruguay has joined us again, and yay!
Well, thank you for coming back. We didn't scare you off.
Well, she said she really enjoys watching, and she sent a Facebook message which I dug up because I'm not accustomed to your Facebook that well.
Oh, and I apologize if it's my art page. I am so messed up with the messages on there. I apologize for that.
You're just slow to return. It's cool.
Well, it's like 30-something days because I thought it was sending them to me automatically to my email account, but they're not. Like I thought I clicked something to do that, and they're not. And I'm so far behind. It's just
Well, she wants to know where to get your book. She wants to read it. And asked if we ship to South America for prints.
Oh, we do. We sure do. And the thing about prints and let me say about the book first. Probably the best place you can get it at any bookseller, I think, but probably the best place to get it is Amazon. And pretty soon we're gonna have it on my website, but probably still the best place to get it would be Amazon. Although on my website, I think we'll try to match Amazon's price. But Amazon's just it's kind of the way it's a place to go, and they ship everywhere, and so it's a good thing. But I don't have it on the website right now, which is funny. But I will very soon. And
I do think that if you go to the website, and click when the slideshow appears with the book, I think that'll take you to the Amazon page, unless it's broken and I haven't checked it in a while.
Yeah, you'll have to check that.
Yeah, I'll check it, but yeah, you can search it on Amazon and it's there.
Yep. The nice thing about whenever we do get it on the website is that if anybody wants me to sign it or write something in it, if I sell it from here, then of course I'll be able to do that. And if it's from the Amazon site, it's a publisher that handles. I don't even get it's a publisher that handles all of that.
That's true. We should work out something where you can sign it for people. That would be good.
Yeah. I'd have to sell it because I haven't sold my book at all. I don't mess with it. I don't. It's a publisher thing. That's what they do. And I figure, but so I paint and they handle the book stuff which is cool. But just for that reason, it'd be great to have them here so I can sign them.
I would say, Virginia, before you order any books or anything, let me let me wrap my head around it and see if there's a way that we can figure out on the site to have them purchased and then sent to you with John's signature.
Well, they are. I'll have to place an order with the publisher and have them send me a couple of boxes. And every time the publisher would send me boxes, I would just give the books away. So I don't have any books around here anymore because I would go to an event, I'd go to a charity thing, and they're like, "Oh, can you donate books for the drive or this and that?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can." And so me. that's what I do. And
okay, so do you want to do?
Oh, I'm sorry. There was another question, wasn't there?
Do we ship to South America?
We do. Oh, and here's the thing about shipping.
Oh, the shipping.
Yes. So let's say if you bought a 16 by 20 matted print, which means that the matted dimensions, like the overall, like you would buy a 16 by 20 frame. So the artwork is probably 11 by 14, but the overall dimensions is 16 by 20, so it's all matted out. It looks really nice. If you bought that and shipped it, it costs the same to ship that as it would if you bought $1,000 painting that was the same size.
Yeah,
You know,
shipping.
the UPS, FedEx don't care what you know, they don't care
Well, yeah,
what's
it's
in
the
it. They
size
just
of
the
the box.
size. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one that handles the shipping, and it is crazy because I mean, the box size is and it's stiff with the prints, so because they're matted, so you can't roll them or do anything like that. So anything outside of America is, or the continental U.S. is astronomical.
but
But we do have an option
yeah,
for because this was a big problem. We have an option of rolled limited prints.
and people get mad at us. They're like, "Why is it shipping so much? Like
Yeah.
to ship a print?" We're like, "Oh, hey, we wish it."
I mean, I wish it was.
Yeah, I mean, like we just, it's because it's the dimensions for artwork makes
Yeah.
it ridiculous. And
Yeah.
but for a limited edition print though, there's two options, and one is and I'm sorry if I cut you off, sweetheart.
No, go ahead.
The one is stretch canvas, which is that like this Jason Lee painting is on a stretch canvas. It's like that. So if you buy a limited edition like this, that's great. It looks really good. You can just hang it right on your wall, just like that. It has a certificate on the back and everything. The bad thing is that you can't roll it up. It's pretty stiff. That's the way it is. You can also buy a limited edition that's flat. It's flat canvas that you would frame once you get it. And that we can roll it, put it in a tube, and the shipping is a fraction. It is just a fraction of what that is because it's all about the shape and the size. And so that's a nice little loophole, and that's something we're trying to tell. Because I'm so proud that you would want to hang my artwork in your Uruguay, and we have so many friends from around the world. And I always feel very bad whenever somebody wants to purchase a print, and it's just the shipping is astronomical, and it's hard to explain sometimes.
Well, she chimed in and said, "What about DHL?"
DHL is a little cheaper. They are cheaper, but it's still the dimensions. It's still, it's funny. Like, I mean, it's just like for an 18 by 24 inch painting, it could still like you go to Germany, to go to France. I want to say it's like $250, almost $300.
Yeah.
For an 18 by 24 inch painting.
Yeah.
And it's because it's thin, but it's just because of of course it has to be in a bigger box to protect the 18 by 24 inch paintings in a frame, and so that makes it bigger. Then the box has to be bigger to pad it, but it just makes it go over the certain inches where they get
we've had some people overseas that have asked about using I forget what it is, but there's like some shipping companies that are overseas that will handle the shipping like a third party and make it cheaper for you, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, honestly, it's like we're a one-man band over here, so we're slowly like catching on to some of these ways that could possibly make it cheaper. It's just figuring out all the logistics with it.
Yeah, and if there's somebody that knows, if you want to share that information, like if somebody has an idea, because like Jackie says, we're I'm an artist, and this is what I do, and we're very fortunate for all this to have grown, and it's wonderful, it's amazing, but we're not professional shippers and all that, and we're trying to find the very best options, and so if anybody knows of anything, man, I would love that.
Well, Linda E. Chimed in and says she saw you at the Vision Expo in Indy and really is enjoying the Friday night talk /show.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. And
okay, so we need to do this question thing.
Okay, so we have the question thing coming up. Okay, this is cool. Okay, and while we do the question thing, it's a good time for me to fill my glass. I've been drinking so much allergies.
Okay, so I'm putting it up there.
Okay, so hold it.
You're not in the camera.
Before you put it up. I know. What was it?
Okay.
Okay. Before, sorry, it's a well-oiled machine we have. No, I just wanted to say really.
Oh gosh, I just put it up. Sorry.
Okay, you put it up there.
Oh, okay, put it up.
Okay, just put it up. No, I'm just gonna say so write in the chat which answer you think is right, and we'll have about a minute or so, and then we'll take the question down. So try and get your answer in with that minute.
Yeah. So, for any visually impaired people, do you want to read it?
Yeah, well, actually, would you mind reading it?
Sure.
The other way we get, because I know what I wrote, but I don't remember where.
Okay, in what year did Van Gogh die? A, 1880, B, 1890, or C, 1901? So write in your answer into the chat, and then how are we doing this? By pulling a name out of a hat?
Yeah, we could pull a name out of a hat. That'd be cool.
Cool.
So, in what year did Van Gogh die? 1880, 1890, or 1901? You can write the year. You can write the letter. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever seems right to you. Hold it. If I hum the theme to Jeopardy, is that still a copyright violation?
Yeah,
I don't know. Probably.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh no! I think I owe Alistair back some money. I shouldn't have said anything. If I even talk about the theme, do I have to owe him money? Is that the way it works? Probably. He's a smart guy. Probably got all that worked out.
All right. So should I take it down,
Sure.
or do you want me to give
The answer.
Okay, so I've monitored the chat. So now I'm gonna take the question. I'm gonna reveal the answer.
Dun dun dun.
All right.
July 29th, 1890.
Bam.
Wow.
So what we're gonna do, Jack?
Settles we are.
So what we're gonna do is everybody that wrote into the chat with the right answer, I'm gonna put it in a hat and I'm gonna let Jack pick out the name. So
Cool.
anyway, you can go back to I'm gonna go to your painting, John, and you can talk about that while I get the name and hat.
Okay. Well, cool. Hey, Jack, please.
Don't touch anything.
Thanks,
And
sweetheart.
I guess describe to them what you're kind of doing with the park bench and the figure.
Yeah. So right now, I'm getting this. I'm starting to draw in where the umbrella is going to be, and I'm using this paint to draw that dries really quickly. It's going to be covered up because it's not a very pretty paint, and so I'm working out the shape. And right now, like, it doesn't have to be perfect because you can change it. So what I'm doing is just trying to put these little curvy lines with a bit of a point to them. You know the way like an umbrella goes, and it goes to this nice little point. Okay, and this is the one that really matters, though. Is the one if I can connect these 2 points. Okay.
We're using a squid. We're using a squid hat.
We're not on camera. Just come sit for a minute. My dad does this. Yes.
Oh, there's green. So okay. That's going to be the basis for our umbrella. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm trying to be a little careful, so I'm putting in, really, all I'm doing right now is using some paint that leaves a raised line that I can feel, that dries super quick. But all this is going to be covered up, so it doesn't have to be that precise. And if you don't like what you're doing, it's no biggie. Just paint over it. Because I'm probably going to change the shape of this umbrella anyway. So I'm making one side a little bit longer than the other because what's the chance, of an umbrella? Because they're going to be turned just a little bit, maybe. Okay. Working. So I'm putting a little bit of color. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm just filling in these little areas. So that they can dry while I work on some other areas of the painting. And then, sorry, I'm not talking. It's hard for me to walk and chew gum at the same time. But so I'm just working on filling in these little areas so that they're dry, and going to put some low lights and highlights. And a low light, you may not hear that as much about, but it's just like a highlight, except it's the exact opposite. It's areas of darkness and stuff, so you can put in some shadow and more light. So right now I'm putting more of a medium tone. So this red that I'm putting in right now is a cadmium red, and it's mixing in with the bone black that I have on there, which is just fine. So that's what I want it to do. I don't want to have these giant black lines. I can sometimes. I like it. Right now though, I'm putting this on right now while the black is still a little wet, so it'll diminish it a little bit. And it's funny. I mean, I paint a lot, so you know it's like anything. It's like, you know, when you first learn how to drive a car. The only thing you're thinking about when you're in that car, when you're first learning, is how to drive that car, how not to run into everything, to make sure that you hit the brake pedal when you're supposed to and not the gas. After a while, the last thing you think about when you're driving a car is driving that car. You know, you're thinking about where you're going, why that person at the sandwich shop didn't give you your pickle when you clearly asked for a pickle. You're not asking for anything. You know, you're thinking about anything other than what you're doing. Well, with this, I paint so much, I'm so used to making the strokes, and my hands kind of know what my brain's thinking about, and vice versa, that it makes it a little bit quicker. Now, I'm not real excited about the shape of the umbrella right now, but I'm going to let it dry a little bit, then I can go back and I can tweak it. I think it's a little pointy, and it's not fluffy enough and everything that I like.
Well, Jurian13 chimed in, how do you put down ideas when inspiration hits, like artists will sketch it?
So thirsty. That's an excellent question. For the longest, I couldn't, and you know, and I come from a background where I did illustration and drafting, and that was the way that I worked out any kind of ideas. Like, I love to write, but if I was working on a story that I was writing, I would actually sketch it out to try to figure out what kind of words I would need to use. Well, for the longest, the materials I used, they would dry fast, but not quite fast enough to make it where I could sketch. Now, thankfully, things have changed quite a bit, so that so I can actually do that. I can actually sketch a little bit with some of these materials, and it's so it's kind of the same way, like if I was sketching paint, but of course, with paint though, it means I have to do a little more thinking than what I used to. But so it's the same sort of thing, except I just think about it a little bit more maybe than what I used to when I would just sketch and put loose marks and things. Now what I usually do is I do the painting in my mind, and this is going to sound crazy, but all the little strokes that you do, like the paint, stroke, what's going to go on that, I do that in my mind, and I build up the layers, and so that I know what it's going to be doing, and whenever I get to the canvas. And of course, there's always surprises, and it's never perfect, but it makes it interesting. Like, this umbrella is a little bit different than what I was envisioning. What I'm feeling now is a little bit different, and
you know, it got caught in a couple windstorms and was a little
yeah. So I mean, and what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to think. Well, it's different, but is it a good different? Like, is it like a happy accident, or is it a bad accident? You know, is this a good thing, or is it a bad thing? And I'm thinking with a little tweaks, it might actually be a kind of a good thing. You know, so I'm making it more the way that I had it pictured in my mind's eye, but I'm leaving a little bit of this angle that I had that was a bit of a surprise. But I kind of like it. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. So like I say though, this whole painting is going to be available on the website. I mean, not the website, the YouTube channel. Actually, it's on the website as well.
the whole video.
Yeah, the whole video. The last week's video too is on our website. So if you go and you click live stream videos, right now the live stream is playing on there, and then right below it is last week's video, and then the ones below that are like the documentaries or news stories or whatnot. But in this one, as soon as YouTube gets it rendered, then it'll be on the website as well.
So should we pull the name?
Yeah. Let's see who wins.
Okay.
Oh, and we should give information about the print, like what size print and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. Well, we'll do. I mean, you know, our typical like 16 by 20. I mean, it's in a matte 16 by 20 print that's on the site. Whatever the person who wins wants, that's on the site.
Yeah, and
whoever wins it, they can PM you on Facebook and with their information. So
yeah, or an email. Like you can get my email on my website.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever's easiest. And,
Okay. Well,
actually, maybe the email, because then it goes to you.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
That might be better.
Cool. We'll figure this out. All right.
Me and words and things. I don't know yet. I don't know if we just want me to control this.
Okay, so we're gonna let Jack pick it. Are you ready, Jack?
The brand new 8-year-old.
All right. He's been watching his iPad. So, okay, wait. Here, you gotta explain your hat.
My hat's a squiddy.
It's a squid hat.
Nice.
So what I did was everybody that chimed in with the correct answer in time, I just wrote your name on a piece of paper, and they're all in here. And Jack's gonna pull one piece of paper out, just one.
Oh.
Just one. You got it?
Yeah.
And so. All right. The name is Sue Clark.
Oh,
Woo!
Sue.
All right, Sue. So.
Well, congratulations, Sue. And so, Sue, you if you want to go on the website, if you want to look at a 16 by 20 print, and just let me know which one that you want, and we'll get it right in the mail to you. And and your address, of course, and
Yeah.
we'll get it right in the mail to you. And so I'm curious, what is the value of that? Is it
$45 print, and then shipping, which is it usually runs 10 to 15 depending on.
oh, cool.
So pretty good deal.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Well, yeah, you can't beat one, which is free.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Sue. That's awesome. And well, cool. Hey, if you know what print that you want, before we chime off here, you could chat in and let us know.
Yeah.
I'd just be curious and know what painting you liked. And some of the new paintings that we've done live on air, they're going to be available as prints as well. Like that first week we did the girl with the umbrella in the park, and last week of course is this painting over here with the sailboat, and then we're going to have this painting as well. So if you wanted one of those, we'll get those up on the site for you.
Well, Sue said she's honored, and Patrick France chimed in and he said he has relatives in Europe. To get prints to them cheaply, he suggests using Google Maps to search their address, then search print shops near them, so the shipping was real cheap.
Oh,
So
Patrick, that's a really good idea.
yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Well,
that might be something to look into.
Yeah, and hey, Patrick. good evening. That's a really good idea. We had a supplier in Germany once. They talked about reproducing our prints there, because the prints that we send out are matted. You know, they're put in, they're matted, they're stamped, and then we seal them in these bags, and they're really high quality mats and high quality prints. So I mean, the prints should look the same 30 years from now. Like, there should be no fading or anything. So, so we'd have to find a print shop that can mat and do all that sort of stuff. Either that or sell a different kind of print overseas or something. But, so I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be, and that's one of the things. And I guess we don't have to mat all of our prints. We just do like the paper prints, the regular prints are really done high quality things, and the limited editions are just crazy. They're really cool. They're on canvas, or on stretch canvas, or the flat canvas. And I never, I didn't offer the limited editions for years because I didn't find a print shop that I liked. Then finally found the one in Colorado that makes all of our limited editions, because they just do a phenomenal job. Like, it's just really good. And so we offer those, and but even with our regular prints, we try to make that. I mean, I know if I go and I buy art, I want to get something that I can put in a frame and and hang it, and it not be that big of a thing. It's nice. It looks nice when you get it. So our regular prints, even, you just put them in a frame, and at least that's what I think, and that's what I want to do. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe, I don't know. This art thing, I'll tell you what.
So why don't you describe what you're kind of doing with the highlights and lowlights on that umbrella?
Oh, good thought. Okay. I'm putting highlights and lowlights in on this umbrella. So over here, I'm gonna have a sun. So I'm making this side of I'm putting some yellows, and I'm using more of the golden sort of yellow, and over here, and I know I'm not being that specific with colors, and the reason is because I don't think you have to be that specific. If you find some colors that you like, then use those, because I think part of the fun of painting is putting your own spin on it and things. So if I say, oh, you must use a grass green, you can only use a grass green, or this painting is wrong, you've broken art and everything's bad, use a light green. If you want it to be a grass green, you want it to be a whatever, then you can do whatever you want. Well, this is sort of a medium yellow, more of a golden yellow, like a yellow going towards orange a little bit, because it's going through this red umbrella a little bit. So I'm going to put some orange around it as well. I just want to give it some deep tones, and as it dries, I'll be able to go over it a little bit more. Down on the bottom, I'm not using really black. I'm using dioxazine purple and some cerulean blue, because when that cerulean blue mixes in with that medium red that I put down earlier, it's going to give it a very deep, like muddy blood and mud kind of color. I don't know. It's the only way I can think about it, like a very deep clay sort of. So it's just it's what happens when those two wet paints mix together. So you already get that instant sort of shading. So right now, that's what's going on over there. Now, this person that's sitting here, pardon me, my nose, they're going to live about right here. That's a very Bob Rossian thing to say. Bob Rossian, oh my goodness, is that a word? So I'm making them, it is now, ta-da. So I'm putting this person in right over here. They're not going to be white. And they are white now. They look white, but looks can be deceiving. They're not going to stay white. They're going to I'll put the white down so that I can have a lighter color. Then I'm probably going to make them very yellow. I'm just thinking on this park bench. I think actually change my mind. Put some light first. See, I'm going to have this person sitting here, and I'm trying to fill the lines that I laid down. And the thing about painting...
You gotta move your head back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Sorry. I really like to get close to my painting. I was doing a live painting at the event the other night, and the very end of the painting, like we'd auctioned it off, had gone to the charity, and everything was good and happy. And then I'm leaning down to do something with the easel and put my hair right all on the side of it. It didn't hurt the painting, but oh my goodness, I got like this impasto technique going through the side of my hair. And yeah, I like to really get into my work. So I put that person in. Now I want to have more of I'm mixing a little cerulean blue with black, which means, and I'm not mixing it a lot, which means that what's probably going to happen is it's going to lighten the black a little bit, give it a bit of a gray. Look, can't really hold my place there. But every once in a while, a little bit of the blue is going to shine through, and that's going to be just okay. Don't mind if it does that at all. So I'm going to put that there and let that dry a little bit. And because I want to show y'all something. And what time is it? Is it like 7:20, 8:20? I mean,
8:25.
Oh, that's not so bad. Okay, this stuff here it is not crap. Okay, I put that in for the trip to Louisiana. It's a medium, and this is a high gloss medium, and it's made by Liquitex, and as you can almost dropped it right on the canvas. That would have been interesting. Okay. So it's this really thick stuff, but it gives the acrylics about the feel of oil paint. And I actually have the container down there somewhere, so we can tell the exact. But it's high gloss, medium.
Modeling paste?
Yeah, it's kind of like modeling. Here, I'm going to step out of the frame just for a moment. That's where I think it's right here. But would you mind reading that?
Sure.
Thank you. I like to buy small containers of everything. I don't know if you can tell there.
It's a gloss super heavy gel Liquitex.
Gloss super heavy gel. That's it. Okay.
I'm holding it up to the camera.
Oh, thank you. So I mean, and you know, I don't necessarily endorse this product or anything, although it is awesome. But and that has the name of it. So if you go and look for it, that's what that's what you can get. And this is the gloss, which is cool. So what I'm doing, and you probably can't see this, I'm just putting some dollops of this out on the thing here. And I'm going to move this here in a second, so you can actually see what I'm doing. But this is a really easy way to add some texture to your paints. So I'm going to move this in, and so I've got some dollops of paint there. What I'm going to do is, let's see, here it is. I'm just going to squirt a little bit of paint on there, just like that. Nothing too fancy. This one's going to be red. And this is just going to change the way the paint feels and the way the paint works. Because I'm going to use the paint knife for the sky up there. So let's see here.
Witzel Asper says, hello, friends.
Well, hello. Thanks so much for joining us.
And Tony wants to know if there are any more Western themed paintings in the future.
Yes. I haven't done them in a little while, but I would love to. I sure would. And there's also some dog paintings in the future. I know you didn't ask that, but I'm doing I'm doing a show to help benefit the guide dogs of Texas at the Greller Gallery in San Antonio, and that's just going to be a show of dog paintings. And it's funny, last summer I did a show at a museum in Louisiana. It was like the Dog Days of Summer show, and don't know what it is about the summer and me doing a dog show, but apparently it's starting to become a theme.
So when you're doing that, do the colors get like muted at all?
No, yes. A little, okay. And also, if you see that I'm not cleaning my paint knife in between this, it's because I don't really need to. I'm mixing from colors, like I wiped a little of the red off, but like the cerulean blue isn't going to affect the way the dioxazine purple looks a little bit that gets in it, and I'm going to be mixing them all together anyway. So okay, I got them all mixed in. So here, me hold this up, and you can see how thick this stuff is. Just wonderfully thick. It's yummy. Okay. So, is a canvas like this? Is it okay? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this. Now, if you've never worked with a palette knife, it can be a little intimidating. You get a giant gob of paint. Don't be intimidated at all. It's just like your brush. Just have some fun with it. Here's the cool thing about a palette knife is that you can go in and you can start really mixing the colors in together and getting some unique sort of looks that you can't do with a brush. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting the cerulean blue down, and you have to remember I use a palette knife a lot, so I'm used to it. And a lot of times what I'll do, and I don't really need to do this for this because I've been working with a palette knife quite a long time, is that I'll change the way that the paints feel sometimes. So like I can make the purple with a different kind of medium than the red and different than a blue, so that when the paint is about halfway dry, it's dry enough where it's not tacky, you can feel it. It still feels different because of the different mediums. So I can tell, oh, that has a lot of the purple, a little bit of the red, very little of the blue, or or whatever it is. But when it dries completely, I can't tell the difference. It dries completely rigid and it's hard. But if I change the way the mediums are when they're wet, then I can go in. Right now I can't touch it. But I don't really need to touch it because I know I'm starting with the cerulean blue. I'm going back over with the purple. I'm adding some red. The nice thing about this too is that of course red and blue mix them together, and what do they make? They make purple. So we get some subtle differences. Now what I like to do is to mix things up too and go in and add some other colors, like a little bit of oranges.
watch your head, honey. It's
Oh, sorry.
on the camera.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm doing this a bit like jazz. It's the notes that I hear when I listen to music and what I like. Like the songs that I hear, and they have these little high notes that come in. You know, it's not the whole thing, but every once in a while you got that. And I don't want it to be too much. So that's what I'm putting in here. Just the way that I like to hear the music as it runs along. So it gives it a nice sort of feel, and it's fun, and it's jazzy, and it's light, and it mixes itself together. And when it's about halfway dry, I can go and feel it and see what I did. But I have a pretty good idea. Like I said, you do something every day for a while, and you start to understand a little bit about how it's going. Now up here, what I'm going to do is, first let me check the sky real quick. Okay, it's still wet. Okay, now up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these colors. This is going to look very crazy for a minute. But just ride along with me for this. This may turn out really well, and it may not turn out great at all. You know what? If we don't like it, this paint can come off almost as easy as it came on. Then we'll just start again. But I get a feeling I have some fun at least trying it. So what I'm doing is I'm adding the dioxazine purple, and then I'm coming in with this medium red. It's a medium cab.
So are you gonna use a brush to blend it or something?
I'm gonna blend the very fringes as it comes down,
Okay.
but this top parts I'm gonna leave chunky. So I'm gonna have some nice chunky sort of thing. And this is just something I do. It's not, I'm really big into there's no right, there's no wrong in art. So this is something that I've started playing around with, and I like to do. Actually, the boat painting that I did from the live stream last week was probably one of the first times I've done it kind of like this. And I really enjoyed playing around with that and doing it, where I have this really chunky feel. I mean, I've done it with some other things, but this is the, where I'm going in and I'm thinking about working it this way. So, see, what I want to do is give the painting a darker feel on the top, and then it lightens down. And then it's darker around here. I'm going to darken the sea a little bit too. I'm going to go back over that. And if we don't have time, because I know it's probably about, 8:30?
8:34.
8:34. So if I don't finish this, I'll be very close. I'll probably be, if I don't finish it during this, I'll be within half an hour of finishing it. And what I'll do is I'll tape that, and I'll post that on my YouTube channel, and I'll post it on my website. Well, I'll post it on the YouTube channel, and then I'll also show it next week on the Friday. Like I'll make a quick thing of it. But that's just if I don't finish it. But that's one thing. I mean, I know that we have a 2-hour show, and I know that I'm doing a painting during it. But I don't have that many rules. But one rule I have is not to rush anything. So that, I mean, if you're working on a painting, and if it takes you a month to do a painting, if it takes you a year to do a painting, then that's just perfectly okay. Once that painting is done, it's done forever. So there's no reason to ever rush it, unless you're doing a live painting and you're supposed to get it done on a certain amount of time. Then maybe that's a good reason to rush it. So if there's anybody out there that would like to ever just talk live, you can Skype in with us, and you don't have to do the video Skype. You can do the talking, just chat. But it'd be wonderful to hear your voices, and the typing chat is brilliant too. That's great. It's always an option. Or if you're an artist and you want to share your painting, or if you got a picture of your children, your grandkids, your dog, whatever. I mean, it'd be fun just to see who's out there and what's going on.
Yeah, Sue said she was working on a painting of her dog.
Oh, really?
And Tony said that she was gonna get you to paint her collies, which I think we talked about in New Orleans.
Oh my goodness.
And Alyssa said that liking the chunky look, and Witzel said great texture on this one as well.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for the feedback.
And Sue chose Morning Forest.
Morning Forest. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
that's-
good one.
That's awesome. Do you know if Liz has that in the print room?
Oh, probably.
Oh, cool. Well, if we have it inside, we'll get it right out to you. But if not, we'll have it made up for you, and we'll get it matted and ready and boxed and shipped to you.
Yeah, don't definitely send your address and all that fun stuff. And we'll
Oh
get it
yeah,
out.
yeah. That'd be that's a good thought. The address. Okay, you know what this needs? More 80s hot pink. Mm-hmm. What would the world be without 80s hot pink? Let's hope we never have to find out. Oh, I've got a question. I've got a question of the day.
Okay.
What is your favorite 80s movie?
Oh my goodness. It'd probably have to be Breakfast Club or 16 Candles.
Oh, I thought it might be like Johnny Five or what's that?
Oh, Short Circuit.
Short Circuit. Is that in the 80s?
Yeah, but that doesn't compare to Breakfast Club. That's crazy.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, I don't know. I just wondered. It's
I mean,
when your
Steve
whole
Goldenberg is great and all, but I mean
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg, is that it? Golden?
I think Guten.
I don't know.
The Gut.
See, I don't know.
The Goot. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's true. Well, but that movie started your whole love affair with robots.
that's true. I do love robots a lot.
Yeah. So does anybody else have a 80s movie out there that you really love, or 80s movie that you hate, that it ruins your life? You're like, oh, that movie.
Virginia wrote both. And then Sue wrote 16 Candles was a classic.
Oh man,
Yes,
there
it
y'all
was.
go. Man. Well, of course, you got to think. What else was it? The Sylvester Stallone movies, weren't they in the 80s? Like the
What, Rocky?
Well, in Rambo and all those.
Yeah.
They kind of they were 80s, weren't they?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it was surely. I don't know. Sounds like, yeah, for sure. At least some of the Rockies, because it's like he had the fight with the Russian and all.
Yeah.
That seems like a very with Brigitte Nielsen or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So, I'm putting in lots of chunky stuff, guys. But this is a very New Orleans. Remember, this is a very New Orleans inspired painting. So, it's along the Mississippi with the calliope music. You sit on the bank there. The river is right there. Like you have this embankment, and the river is like, boom. There's a river. Right over to the right of the painting is this huge steamship playing.
Are you going to put a steamship in it?
No.
Oh.
No.
That'd
No,
be
it's
cool.
out. Yeah, really.
Come on.
Man, I only got 2 hours. I thought
Well,
about doing
you
it.
have to, you always finish these after the fact. You could throw a steamboat in there.
Yeah.
A little silhouette. You can do that.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. You know what? You might have talked me into it.
So Witzel said.
So this 2-hour painting has turned into a 10-hour adventure.
Witzel said
Oops, I put my finger in the painting.
Stripes, which was an.
Oh yes,
Stripes was awesome. I'll get that. Yeah,
Bill Murray. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
yes.
that's a good one. And
With the RV and they're having the Army RV. Of course, the Army has to have an RV.
And Alyssa said Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That
Oh.
was a great one. I forgot. These are good ones. I've forgotten about all this. And then The Shining. Barb Dorrington said The Shining.
Chick. Yeah, that little chick. I can't say it.
And Witzel said
Chick-
Ghostbusters.
Yes. Who you
All
gonna
good.
call? Man, yeah, Ghostbusters. You know what's funny is that Jack, he loves some 80s films.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, all about it. Oh my goodness. Here at the house, we have a thing we call bad movie night, or it's actually extremely awesome.
Terrible.
Yeah, extremely awesome, possibly terrible movie night. We'll have friends over and we'll watch B movies or 80s movies or science kind of crazy movies, but it's mostly a B movie night or low budget films. And we're always looking for films that are good. But if you find a film that's really, really bad, it's still good. You can still make fun of it and it still makes for a good night. So
Yeah, like Sharknado is my favorite for a while there. I mean, they're terrible, but they're just epically, terribly awesome.
They are. They're so bad.
And they know how to make fun of themselves, so that's cool.
Yeah, this is true. They have. Well, you kind of have to be able to do that. I guess with a movie like that, you take yourself too seriously.
Tony chimed in and said you should add the ship after the show.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, it's 2-1. I see. That's how this is turning out. Awesome. Awesome. So for future shows too, we're thinking about getting like some do some pairings, some drinks and food. It's something that we do in museums where we'll have, if we're talking about Italian art, we may link it to an Italian drink. If we're talking about certain colors, we may link that to flavors and things. And it's some of the workshops we do, and it sounds like synesthesia, and it kind of is in a way, but it's not. It's just understanding color and our sensations in different ways. So we thought about doing some of that. Maybe getting some live models in here. Like, I want to do some flapper paintings. It'd be cool to get some people dressed in like 1920s period kind of costumes and just do some fun things. And and of course the whole hope for this is just to have some fun and to make some art and to make friends and just sort of hang out and paint. And that's really the whole goal for all of this, to get us together to do these sort of things. It's hard to find time, and I don't know, with the internet, and it makes it where it's at least possible. We could have somebody here from Uruguay, somebody else from Louisiana, people from all over the place. And it's just wonderful, because we all have a shared interest in artwork. And
so Tony wants to know again what the tool you're using is, and can you talk a little bit more about like what else it's used for besides what you're using it for?
Sure. What else is it used for?
I
mean, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, I guess like you can carve into paint.
Oh, I got you. I was trying to think. I just use it to paint with. I don't know. I was trying to be creative and think of something, and I couldn't do it. I thought, oh man, what am I? She wants me to say something. I can't think of what it would be. Oh, I'm crazy. Yeah, this is a paint knife, and let's see, I've got another one. Now with the paint knives, you can buy plastic, you can buy wood, and I prefer the metal and the wooden ones, like the wooden handle with the metal. And the only reason is because they're not that expensive and they last literally forever, well, almost forever. I finally broke one of my first ones that I started with 15 years ago, and the only reason it broke was because I keep them in water. Like these stay in water, like they're constantly in water, and look how good they are. They don't fall apart. And it finally just rusted, or I guess it got a week and broke. But if you don't do that, then they'll probably last you a lifetime. And they're only like maybe, you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at your art store. Sometimes at an art store, they'll try to gouge you, and they'll try to charge way too much. But most of the time, you can get them for $3, $5. Like I say, it's a tool. Compared to brushes, that's a steel. And the way brushes the bristles will mess up. And also, there's a ton of different shapes. I love this shape, this triangle shape, but if I'm doing these sort of broad, kind of chunky, rectangular squares, this one is wonderful. It has two edges that you can paint. It has a short edge and this long edge. It also makes nice as a scraper. You can clean the paint off. So if you make a mistake, you can just take that paint right off. You can put it back on. So it makes it nice, and it's funny. Even from the beginning, I love paint knives because when I first lost my sight, I was used to using canes, and the canes are very rigid. And like with a paint knife, it's easy to tell. See, there's the line. It's easy to tell. You can feel very well what you're doing on the thing. It's easy to get a tactile, like the canvas. I don't know if you can hear that, but that sound that you're hearing, it's also giving vibrations up to your hand, and you can actually feel what's going on. So as you're laying the paint down, it's a very tactile sort of sensation that you're getting.
I think one thing about like the plastic versus those wooden ones is it feels so different. Like the holding onto the knife feels different, and I guess the wooden ones are more sturdy, but the ends with the metal are more pliable, so it just feels like sturdier and more like you have more control over what you're doing.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, and I'm glad you brought it back around to the plastic ones because there's nothing wrong with plastic ones. I've got those over there, and those are great. They're really good. I mean, they're, you know, all you need is something that's going to pick up paint and put it down for you. So you don't need to go like, you know, be exorbitant with it or anything. I just like these because it is something where if you do spend a little bit extra, it's not wasted money. It's going to last, and you know, if you use them, I have some paint knives over there that I bought in like some little round ones, and I never use those things. I will one day, I'm sure. I keep telling myself that, but I haven't. There's also another thing, and since we're talking about paint knives, let me see if I have one handy. So I'm gonna step out of frame. I apologize. Okay. So here's one of those round ones. See, I have used it. It's all dirty and stuff. So I use it every once in a while. I use it with trees sometimes. I'm not sure why. But, there's also these giant ones. See, here's a plastic one. See, I do use plastic ones. There's nothing wrong with plastic ones. I love those. And a nice thing about a plastic one too is that they are cheaper. So so this is a large one. So you can buy more of these. So if you can have them for different colors or whatnot. I mean, that's great. And this is actually a pretty heavy duty plastic one. Some are very flimsy. This one isn't. So I like that. Now, these are very large. You tell them, and they could use a good scrubbing. These are awesome, and you can use them for large paintings. You know, because they're shaped. You can get them in all kinds of shapes. You know, they're just like this. Like I have one of these that are shaped like this. But you can also use them for smaller paintings and get like you can cover the painting really quickly, and you can get some nice sort of texture.
Well, Tony asked, is the pressure on the brush the same as the pressure on a crayon or marker? Is it difficult to keep steady pressure?
You know, it's funny. I've never had trouble with the pressure. The nice thing about a crayon or marker though is that you don't run out of the ink or the material, the medium that you're putting. You know, like the crayon is going to keep it's going to keep putting down a mark until the crayon goes away. Where with a brush, you know, it's going to run out of the paint eventually. You know, so if you're making a long thin line, sometimes it's hard with the brush because you have to keep dipping the brush back into ink over and over again. But there are some things out there, like there's this. Let me show you. This is a brush. It's like in a pen form. And it's just a, oh shoot, let me see. Sorry, it's a brush. So I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a tip, but it's like a pen. But you put paint in them, and then the paint comes out the nib. But it makes it so that you don't have to keep dipping the brush into ink. So I got this to play around with, and you can put. It has to be a very thin paint though. Is the only bad thing about it. So that's really the bad thing about a brush is that you have to keep reapplying the paint. But of course, you know, it just depends on your technique. Like if you're doing long thin lines, and then that could be a problem. But if you're stippling, which is just like basically like putting paint down, like little, if you think about Seurat or pointillism or something like that, which that's really not a very good example for stippling. But
so where are you putting in the sun again on this one?
I'm gonna put it like right here.
Okay, cool.
It's the coolest. Hey, all my ideas are cool. That laugh was too loud. For that. What do you say? But yeah, so we're hoping to do some more fun things, guys. Like to mix things up a little bit. And if there's something that you want to do, you know, just let us know. And I'd really, you know, and if you like us doing this, and you know, which I really love doing. I love chatting, and it's so much fun. And I think like we've only done 3 of these. Only 3. So, you know, I'm hoping that maybe we can grow this. We can get a bigger community. So we can start seeing other people's art too. Because I know that we've only done 3 and I'm just showing my stuff. But I want to have guests come in here and be able to chat and answer questions for us. So, you know, so if we, if we think all of us together, like we're chatting, was like, well, how does that work? How the hell in the world would you do this technique? Or how would you do that? Well, we can go out and find those people and bring them back here. We'll drag them back. And then we can tie them down and we can all ask them questions and whatnot, and I think that'd be fun. Or we can go to art shows and look at some different things.
Yeah, so if anybody out there has any suggestions, or I know we got a couple of emails, and Tony's one of them to give some advice or, you know, any sort of suggestions or brainstorming ideas of like what different things we can do to, you know, make it fun or whatever, chime in and let us know. Because, yeah, we definitely want to grow the audience and be able to chat and everything. It's really great. It's been fun. So, I know in next week you're going to do the portrait, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a portrait. I'm not sure of what, of what. I'm not sure of who. Yeah, I haven't even thought about it, and I was thinking about doing a portrait this week, but the time in New Orleans made it to where, you could do a music painting on a portrait. That I do that a lot, but I don't know, being on the Mississippi and all, I just really wanted to do a river painting, and so here we are.
Kath Carpio said, hi.
Hi.
And love how you're filling in the sky, watching and listening with your daughter, Marissa. Hey, from Kathy in Connecticut. Thanks for the knife lesson.
Oh, man. Well, thanks so much, guys, for watching. And you know, if anybody wants to share anything, if you're working on something or if you have some work that you want to share, you could also send it to our Facebook account, you know, to my Facebook art page, and I'll post it on there if you want to share, because you know it just sounds like fun. It's like the more that we do this and the more fun we have with it, and you know the more that we put it in it, of ourselves in it, the more we'll get out of it. You know, it'll just be fun.
Yeah, and Alyssa says love the live chat. And Sue and Witzel are cooking up plans to get Sherpa and friends on here. So I'm not sure. I'm assuming those are people. But that sounds awesome.
Is Sherpa a name or an occupation for this person?
When I hear that, I think you know somebody carrying my stuff up a mountain. But you know.
Well, that's cool. I would love to meet someone named Sherpa.
And Alyssa and Sue said they'll
awesome.
share the channel. So.
Hey, thank you guys.
Awesome.
I appreciate that so much. That's so cool. And because we're just having a blast with this. So, you know, as long as people are having fun and are wanting to do this, then because really, you know, to be completely honest, I don't have like an end goal in mind for this. I just thought it'd be fun, and I thought maybe we could all chat. And we're in here, and we want to start shooting some videos for how-to videos. So, you know, for all kinds of painting. You know, people with disabilities, people without disabilities, and all that. So we were already setting up all the cameras and stuff. We thought, well, if we're doing that, why don't we start doing live stream? Because you know we love chatting and we love doing art. So why not mix some of the things we love together and have some fun?
Yeah, Tony had a good idea. She asked any chance that we could do a seminar on here with blindfolds.
Oh yeah, you know what? That would be interesting. We sure could. I wonder how that would work. I mean, because I can tell you what you need to do it. I mean, I guess we could put together a package here. We could ship it to you or something. But
I think. Well, no, I think. I think what we should do is get a group of people in here. You know, I mean, we could either do somebody like Jack and another kid if the parent agrees or something. Where that's because we do it with we do it with all ages, but mostly with little kids. But we could just get a couple of friends in here and have them on camera and walk through the process like you do at the museum workshops. So yeah. I imagine that's what Tony had in mind.
All right, guys. I want to put this back normal.
Okay.
Sorry. I guess they're used to being the other way. That's a cool idea. Yeah, that'd be cool. So were you thinking about us doing it here, or were you thinking about what do you think she meant, like us doing it here, or everybody doing it at home? And everybody's doing a raise line, or doing.
I would imagine here.
Well, it'd be fun though if they could do it here.
Well, I mean, and we could tell everybody we're doing it, and then we do it, and if they want to do it, they do it, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just like it is now. Like if you want to paint, awesome.
Yeah, that could be cool. The only hard part is that if you do a blindfold painting, you really need like a raised line thing, and you need textured paint, which I can tell you how to make a raised line. It's easy. I mean, you could get all the materials to be able to do it for probably a few dollars, you know, not including the paint, which you can just use poster paint or tempera paint, you know. What time is it? Are we good on time?
8:56. You got 4 minutes.
Oh my goodness, so, 4 minutes.
Sue Clark said, the art Sherpa is Cinnamon Cooney, who they have a live YouTube a few times a week, and she now has ALS on some for deaf.
Oh,
We
wow.
we should check her out.
That sounds cool. Yeah, I'll definitely. That sounds familiar now you say that.
And Tony said yes, that's what she means. Like, yeah, do it on the show, and if people want to do it at home, then cool. But I mean,
yeah, that'd be cool.
it's
Yeah.
easy to prepare. I mean, it's easy to tell people,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
up.
That's Tony. That's a really good idea, and it'd be a good thing because we get a lot of emails for teachers. I deal with students a lot, and we get tons of emails from schools, teachers that it's two things really. Either teachers want to do the blindfold workshop just for their art students, just so our students are having to think about art in a different way, or is a disability sort of thing. Disability studies, disability awareness, for help children with disabilities. So there's that whole thing. But if we did it here live with some people, then we could go through in a really short amount of time exactly what you need to put together a workshop like that. So that if anybody wanted to, it may be easy to share that video. That way, if a teacher in a school, wherever wanted to do it, they would know exactly what materials to get. So that could be really cool. And I know we're just about out of time, guys, but I just wanted to say you thanks so much for watching us, for watching me get painting, for chatting with us.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut to the painting. Why don't you tell them like what you have left to do that they can expect?
Oh, that's a great
next
idea.
week.
Okay. Okay, what I'm gonna do, guys, too, is I'm gonna shoot a video of me finishing this, and I'll probably like speed it up, or we'll do something so you don't have to, so it'll be quicker. But what I'm gonna do is I need to fix the body. I'm not happy with it. I just put yellow down there, but I need to fix it.
And they need feet.
Yeah, feet. So feet, gonna fix the body, and I'm gonna darken the sky a little bit over here to put some clouds. I'm gonna put a sun, so it's gonna be a round sun. I'm going to play around with the water a little bit and get it to be a little, because this is still a little bit wet, and I want to get a little bit more color. I want to get a little more turquoise blue in there, a little bit more pink, some oranges, and just be going side by side. Just have that as it filters through. So it's like that sky is radiating down to the water, and then that light's coming through, and we have this nice chunky sort of land where New Orleans is coming into that Mississippi River. Pardon me.
So where is the steamboat?
Oh, it's probably right here. There's probably gonna be like a little steamboat right over there.
Cool. You should do it. You could do a silhouette.
Or there may not be a steamboat. I don't know.
Ugh.
There may or may not be a steamboat.
All right. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is the steamboat is that, like, I want to make sure it doesn't unbalance the composition.
Gotcha.
So whenever I've got that down, like the way I did it's gonna have a sun over here with clouds and stuff going. So so I want to make sure that if I put a steamboat here, it's not going to.
There are other. You could do other like thin boat, like that you have some paintings where you just do real thin.
Yeah, I could do sailboats
in the distance, but you do it to a boat that's typical of the Mississippi.
I could do a paddle wheel boat or
something. I don't know.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for the idea.
Yeah.
So you guys make my art better, so thank you. Somebody needs to. No. But I think it's cool how just getting together and talking about art just adds to it. Adds to the creativity. That's brilliant.
So cool.
Well, awesome guys. Well, if you haven't, please subscribe to our channel and like things on Facebook, like everywhere. All that really has a lot of weight. It really does add, and it's nice like to be able to go to nonprofits and charities and be able to do that and say, hey, people actually like the stuff that we talk about sometimes, and that's nice. And thank you so much for joining us on here today.
Yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week it'll be a portrait. So I'll put some sketches and stuff online. But have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Night.